Hey everybody, Alexa Zepp here with the Daily Racing Form to go over another Pick 3 sequence for this Saturday, February 15th. Today is the 14th, so happy Valentine's Day. And we've got a lot of really great racing this weekend, especially at Fair Gounds. They have a 14 race card, and the last 4 races on the card are stakes races. 2 of them award points to the Derby and the Oaks. So we're going to zero in on Fair Gounds. We're doing the last 3 races on the card, starting with race 12. Race 12 is the Grade 3 Fair Gounds Stakes, going 1.125 miles on the turf for 4-year-olds and up. I'm going to use 4 horses in here. I thought this was a bit of a tough race to get through, starting with the one What Say Thee at 9-2 morning line odds, who won last out in a lifetime best performance, although that was back in November. So he's coming off a decent layoff to start his 7-year-old campaign. And this is the first time they're trying him in a graded stakes race in his entire life, but I do think he fits here. He really peaked last year in his 6-year-old year and has closing speed and will likely be near the back of the pack early on. We'll also use the 2 Gigante at 7-2 morning line, who's won his last 2 races in a row, both in stakes races at Fair Gounds in December and January. One was on the turf and the other was on the dirt because it was raining. They took it off the turf. But the turf is definitely his preferred surface. He's the only one in here who ran in this race last year, and he got 4th place in it. Like What Say Thee, he's a deep closer, or not a deep closer, he's a closer, but tends to stay closer to the pace. So that should be a good setup for him, and definitely just seems to be at the top of his game. The number 4, I'd Rather Be Blessed at 8-1 odds. I threw this in here for a little bit of a price. Has been improving consistently throughout his entire career and ran a lifetime best 2 back at Fair Gounds in the stakes, going long on the turf like today. He's been knocking on the door of the winner's circle the last 6 months. His figures have improved, and he's gotten 3 second-place finishes. And finally, your Valentine's horse of the day, Taking Candy, the number 8 at 4-1, who's in for trainer Cherie DeVoe, who's had a very successful meet at Fair Gounds so far. Out of her 50 starters, half of them have hit the board. And Taking Candy is coming off a 3-month layoff, but his last time out in November, he ran a length behind What Say Thee. He had a decent trip that day, so there wasn't a huge excuse for the loss, but it was just outkicked. But if you look at the time from US Pace Projector, he is predicted to outkick What Say Thee this time in another 1-2 finish of the duo. Race 13 is the Grade 2 Rachel Alexandra Stakes, going 1.16 miles on the dirt for fillies, 3 years old. It awards points to the Oaks, and 3 out of the last 7 Kentucky Oaks winners won the Rachel Alexandra. So this is a very impactful race on the Oaks Trail. And I know you don't see me right now, but at the beginning of my videos, you see my my Monmoy Girl saddle cloth in the background. I absolutely love Monmoy Girl, one of my all-time favorite horses. And that saddle cloth's from, her Kentucky Oaks win. And for those who aren't familiar with her, she raced from 2017 to 2021, trained by Brad Cox. And during her 3.5-year career, ran 17 times, won 14 of them, got second in those other 3 losses. She won the Breeders' Cup Distaff and the World Championships twice. Like I said, she won the Oaks, but before all of that, she had an identical career debut path as the number 2 Good Cheer in here, who's also being trained by Brad Cox. Except Good Cheer is doing even better than Monmoy Girl did. So they both won their first race in Indiana. Then they both won a nice allowance race at Churchill Downs, followed by winning the Rags to Riches Stakes. And then for their 4th career start, they both ran in the Golden Rod Stakes. And while Monmoy Girl got 2nd place in 2017, Gold Cheer won it. So Gold Cheer is coming into this race undefeated. 4 starts, 4 wins. And Monmoy Girl did win the Rachel Alexandra in 2017, securing her path to the Oaks. So I am singling Good Cheer in here. I would love to have a powerful, filly like that come into play again. So singling the 2, Good Cheer, and then race 14, the Grade 2 Risen Star, going 1.125 miles on the dirt for 3-year-olds for a $500,000 purse. So this is the first race of the 105 qualifying point tiers for the Kentucky Derby. So previously, we were getting 20 points to the winner. Now you're getting 50 points to the winner, which is enough to get you in the race. So you win and you're in. And then in March and April, we'll get some of those 200-point tier races. But this is the first of the 105 points. So even second place is 25 points, which is still gets you very far on your way to securing a spot in the Derby. So I'm going to use 3 horses in here, starting with the number 1 American Promise at 12-1 odds. This is a son of Kentucky Derby and Triple Crown winner Justify, who likes to be on or near the lead. Looked like he was learning with every start last year, and then when trainer Dwayne Lucas finally tried putting the blinkers on him, he really found his stride. So they tried him in a graded stakes a few weeks ago at Oakland, and he just didn't get a good break. He kind of stalled, jumped a bit, but then showed a lot of speed to get to the front where he likes to be, but he had to spend so much gas to get there. This was in the Southwest that Sandman almost won. But then, he tired, he lugged in, he ended up cutting off another horse, getting himself disqualified. So it just really did not go his way that day. And I do think if he had broken better from the gate and didn't have to spend so much energy playing catch up to get to the lead where he likes to be, he would have been a major factor. So I like that we're getting 12-1 odds on him in here. They spent $750,000 on him as a yearling. So they have high expectations, as do I. We'll also use the number 4 East Avenue at 9-5 Morning Line favorite, who also went off the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile after being 2 for 2 in his 2-year-old career and had just a terrible go. He stumbled badly at the gate and he wants the lead. So he already had his work cut out for him drawing the 1 hole in the Breeders' Cup. If you're an early speedster, you don't want that position with everybody to your outside. You have to break so well. And not only did he not break well, he broke bad. So he just had absolutely no chance and hasn't raced since. But the odds maker hasn't lost any faith in him yet, giving him that morning line favoritism. And I think if he gets a luckier trip, he will be the one to beat in here and could easily secure his start for the Derby tomorrow. And then we'll use the number 9 Built, who's won half of his 4 starts and beat a lot of this field today. His 2 wins were from being on the lead, but last out in the grade through the Comte, he came from well off the pace in the slop to get second by only a neck. So he seems to be a very tactical horse. He's never run off the board and will definitely be a contender in here. So that's the pick 3. It's a cheap ticket. It's only $12 for $1. I mean, you could play for 50 cents for $6, or since it's cheap, you could put, $3 or $5 on it and play 30 or 50 bucks and try to hit big. We've got some decent prices in here. So good luck, everybody, with all of your bets this weekend, especially if you play this pick 3 with me.